Our speaker was particularly touched by Home on the Range. He is a native of Billings, Montana.
All right.
And he attended public school there. He earned a degree in theology from Concordia College, a degree from Montana State in biology and chemistry, and he taught chemistry and biology, life sciences in junior and senior high school. He became the faculty advisor for a Key Club, of which he was a member when he was a student at that high school. And he was also selected as Teacher of the Year and Key Club Advisor in his first year as an instructor and advisor. Along with serving as an advisor, he volunteered as a Key Club administrator for the Montana district. And then in 1988, he came to Indiana and became the administrator for International Kiwanis Club Key Clubs. He is a combat veteran of Vietnam. Thank you for that. And he told me something when we were in line that really was kind of interesting. He has an adopted son who was a crack baby, who came from a very impoverished background. In fact, he said he visited the house and there were bullet holes around the door. The boy has made quite a thing of himself under Dave's leadership. And he currently resides in Westfield, Indiana, not far from where I grew up, between Baker's Corner and Boxley. And so I'll let Dave have it now.
Good.
Actually, there was the second song also left quite an impression in his hands, because I don't know if you realize it as Kiwanians or not, but over the 50 years that I've dealt with Key Clubbers, it's the Kiwanians who have stepped in and really made life possible for a lot of these kids. Even the kids that I've dealt with who became, one of them actually, these personal advisors to this U.S. Congress for the majority leader. One of them is now the Attorney General for the state of Montana. And a lot of them have gone beyond that. And a lot of these kids had no chance until Kiwanians got involved with them. In fact, that's how I met Trey, he was telling you about. He became homeless when he was in high school, and I met him through Key Club. And here was a kid who had everything going against him. But the Kiwanians, not just myself, but Kiwanians throughout the district, because he became the Key Club governor, is now working on a college degree, and he's the first one that ever made it through high school in his entire family. And this is what you can, when you say, in his hands, you have the whole world. Well, you do have, and you have the opportunity to do this right here in Lafayette, and that's what we're going to go through. I'm going to very quickly, because I know we're short of time, go through a little bit on the background of Key Club so that you understand what it is. And then I'm going to give you a little bit of background about the Key Club in Indiana, the district. And then I'd like to concentrate a little bit on what we call community-based Key Clubs. And the unfortunate thing is more and more schools, I deal a lot with Key Clubs in foreign countries as well as the United States. And with the demise of so many Kiwanis clubs, Key Club, so we have a lot of Key Clubs that need Kiwanians to work with them. So real quickly we'll go through Key Club and a little bit of its history, this background. It started in 1925 in Sacramento, California. It was actually started by a vocational guidance counselor. And then it grew from there until 1939 when the first Key Club district was formed. And it was formed really because of Kiwanians retiring from California mostly, going to Florida and bringing that program with them. And then in 1943, Key Club, I'm going to interrupt for just a minute because we have a very special guest that just walked in. We have the Key Club governor for the District of Indiana, Riley Briel. She's from Valparaiso. And would you introduce your chaperone there, Riley? Ready? Come on up here, too.
This is my father, Mr. David Briel.
Hey.
And Riley's just coming back. Tell them where you're coming back from.
I was on a youth tour to DC and I got back this morning. So we got to tour the Capitol and go through Gettysburg and learn about our nation's history while understanding how electric cooperatives work through the National Electric Cooperative Association.
And she's just on her way from the Indianapolis airport back home in Valparaiso. We asked her to stop by her on her way by. Why don't you sit here and you can add too as we go through this, wherever you want. We're going to cover some on Indiana Key Club too. So in 1943 then, it gained international status by having a Key Club in Canada. In 1946, Indiana had its first Key Club, and it still exists today, and that's in Logansport. And then in 1956, the Indiana Key Clubs grew to the point where they were large enough to become a Key Club district. And then a milestone in 1977, and this is much later than when I graduated from high school. When I was in Key Club, it was all male, and they made the wise decision to become co-ed, and has been very, very successful because of that. Key Club's mission is to develop competent servant leaderships in the students in the high schools, where they learn to put others before themselves. And it's very obvious when you work with them that they do that. It's an international student-led organization, and Riley's really finding out how much student-led really means, because she's had to plan conventions, she's had to plan board meetings, she's planning, in a couple of weeks we're going to San Antonio, and she's had to plan all of that. So they learn their leadership skills by becoming involved with the program. On the Key Clubs, it's the students that do everything, like at their conventions, from script writing to even deciding where that convention is going to be. And this is where they develop that leadership. They have 4 values that they incorporate into all levels of the Key Club program: character building, caring, inclusiveness, and leadership. Key Club right now has more than 6,000 members in 37 different countries. And in the last count, there were 274,000 Key Club members in 39 countries throughout the world. And each year, these students provide 12 million hours of community service. In the Indiana district, currently we have 125 active clubs. There's 6,500 members. The highest we've had was 7,250, and we're working toward regaining that number as it goes right now. One of the big sources for growth in Key Club is a program called Key Leader, and that program has resulted in 24 new Key Clubs in Indiana, where students from high schools that didn't have Key Clubs attended Key Leader, met Key Clubbers, and went back to their school and started them. We have 3 Kiwanis clubs that were started because of the Key Club members who went to Key Leader, went back to their homes, and needed a sponsor for their Key Club, and they formed them. Henryville, Scottsburg, to name 2 of them. Why don't you real quickly just tell them what Key Leader is, Riley?
So I had the opportunity to attend Key Leader twice throughout my high school career thus far, and it really epitomizes teaching the students that go to Key Leader not only how to serve your community, but how to become a leader and become a servant leader ultimately. And so they do this throughout various lessons and workshops throughout the weekend, and create neighborhoods, which essentially creates a small group that you work with throughout the weekend and share bonds with and experience low ropes course, leadership building activities through Camp Tecumseh, which is a great campsite to explore the outdoors while making new friends and enjoying your weekend. And we've had the opportunity to hear from great guest speakers and leaders throughout our nation that come and teach us great aspects of servant leadership and how to not only build your community, but build other leaders around you as well.
And this is what the Key Clubbers learn to do real quickly, because they are put on the spot like this very, very often. You see how beautifully they handle it, much more than I ever could have at that age. We left some materials in the back on Key Leader. It tells what the curriculum is and so on. And as you form your community-based Key Club here in Lafayette, I would suggest that you either use neighbors, grandkids, kids, people youngsters from your church, especially 9th and 10th graders, and send them to this leadership camp. It's very, very intense and well worth that weekend. There's a number of scholarships available for those who are not able to afford the $250. If they're Key Club members now, the International Foundation gives them a scholarship, so it's $225 for those students. Also, one of the things that Riley has already started to plan is the Key Club District Convention. We call it a District Leadership Conference, because that's the main focus of it. It's going to be April 13th through the 15th in Indianapolis at Sheraton at the Keystone at the Crossing. The tentative registration is $250, which includes 5 meals, 2 nights at the hotel, and all the training materials that are available. And this is one of the lowest in the Key Club International. As you saw from Riley, she leads this with the Key Club District Board, as do local club members. They determine themselves how the club will function. Each club chooses their own projects. They determine and develop their own budgets, and they do work to decide what issues in the community need to be addressed. Just real quickly, so you can see that it is based on the Kiwanis structure. Key Club members are some of them in high schools. Most Key Clubs are in a local high school. In a lot of schools where the school is too small, or for some reason the school boards or schools don't allow quote outside organizations in, limited access they call it, they have community-based Key Clubs. And if you form a community-based Key Club here in Lafayette, the advantage is they can come from all the schools. They can come from home schools, they can come from charter schools, they can be students who have access to that community-based Key Club. The Kiwanis Club would play the exact same role that they do in a traditional Key Club, and they will usually meet, for example, the one in Richmond meets at the Boys and Girls Club. The one in Bloomington meets at the library. There's one up in Wawasee that meets in the United Way Center. And then they provide a meeting place for those students. So it can be any place that has meeting facilities for the individuals. A lot of communities meet in churches. And the Key Club actually meets there, usually after school or in the evening if it's community-based. Most Key Clubs meet during the school day. Your speech, what?
Right after school.
So they meet right after school, some right before school. When I was a Key Club faculty advisor, we met at 7 o'clock on Monday nights. Again, just real quickly, a group of clubs, just like in Kiwanis, form a division. In Indiana, there's 23 divisions. Those 23 divisions form the Indiana district, and Indiana is one of 33 districts in Key Club International. As you can see, most of the districts are made up of multiple states. Indiana, Pennsylvania, New York, Florida are kind of exceptions, whereas some of the older ones like New England have 6 different states that they incorporate. Pacific Northwest has Alaska, British Columbia, Oregon, Northern Idaho, and part of Washington State and Northern California. Each Key Club, and this would be true of the community base as well, includes the elected board, traditional officers, president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, but they also have representatives from each grade level. And they meet traditionally weekly or every other week to plan the events of that Key Club. They actually are the administrative branch of a Key Club, just like with your Kiwanis. In Indiana, These individuals are what we call our executive board. They meet a lot electronically, but they also meet to set plans for the entire district. Riley is from Valparaiso High School. We have a lieutenant governor from each division. We have a secretary treasurer, Emma, who's from Fishers, a bulletin editor, Nicole's from Bloomington, and our webmaster is from Valparaiso, but a different high school, Washington Township High School. We have 2 service chairs, both experienced key clubbers. They actually are working on raising $100,000 for Riley for that 3 Wishes project. They've made arrangements. They've worked with the Pacers. They've done district-wide T-shirt sales, and they've organized some work opportunities at the Indiana State Fair to raise money for the district. The lieutenant governor for your area is actually from Highland High School, and hopefully she'll get a chance to come down and work with the students who are going to be forming the community-based Key Club. The district board is actually a direct link to the clubs. They provide mentoring education. They train the Key Club officers in their divisions. They hold division council meetings just like Kiwanis does. And they are a little different in their division council meeting because a lot of times they'll have not only a service project, but some type of social activity. Some of them have had bonfires like they had at Riley's house, or swimming parties. Even one of them had water skiing because they lived right on some of the lakes. And they are a little longer than the Kiwanis ones, but they are educational as well. Then Key Club has an international board that will be elected, the new ones, in a couple weeks down in San Antonio. And that's what Riley's kind of finalized all of the tour plans for the Indiana students to go to San Antonio. International dues for Key Clubbers are $7 per member. The district dues for Indiana are $7 per member. So that means a total of $14 per student. Many of the clubs will add $6, so it'll be $20, and then that $6 stays in the club. When you charter your community-based Key Club, they don't pay dues the first year. I always recommend that they collect them anyhow, because it can be used for any kind of service project to get that club off the ground and going, be it by T-shirts or being in some of the smaller towns in Indiana. The dues actually help pay the charter fee. And for their dues, they do get club mailings. They get member communications and administrative things, the pins, the certificates, the awards, and that type of thing. Again, we're going to go through this quickly just so that we can have some time for questions. Key Club does have its own foundation. It's called the Youth Opportunities Fund, where clubs can apply for grants from anywhere from $200 to $1,400. A number of Indiana clubs have done that. We had a Key Club board member. Do you want to tell them about Lauren's project she got on her grant?
Sure. One of our lieutenant governors this past year, she was able to organize a 5K to prevent awareness, to share awareness about domestic violence in her community. And so she was able to receive a grant to put that on. And apparently it was very successful. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but I heard great things about it, and she's planning on making it an annual thing, and which is a great thing that she's doing for her community.
And these are totally organized by students, and she put on it for the entire community. I think they had 200 and something show up for it, and she raised money for awareness for child abuse. Okay, we'll kind of just go through this real quickly. Some of the international projects they work with are UNICEF with the Trick or Treat, March of Dimes, and CMN Hospitals, which in Indiana is Riley. They're making a major donation. Key Club International has donated already more than $1 million toward the MNT project that Kiwanis works on. They also work with the March of Dimes for healthy baby weights. I think the rest of this would just kind of skip so we can go through some questions that you might have. So basically what we're hoping you are able to do is to build a community-based Key Club here. And again, as I mentioned, your Kiwanis Club would have the same responsibilities for that club. And for example, you might pick a church, or you might pick, with Purdue here, you could even use their Circle K, which is very, very strong. They could meet on that campus. And then they could use the facilities at Purdue. And Purdue could help co-sponsor and be active with those Key Clubbers. And of course, that would be a major attraction for the school administration. When we've held some of our division council meetings, for example, on Notre Dame's campus, we had over 250 students show up for it because they also have a very strong Circle K up there. But the school principals thought this was a golden opportunity for them to see the campus from the inside. Again, I know we're rushing it, but do you have any questions on Key Club? Riley's here to answer any that you have, especially from the student perspective, and then we can take on any that you want. But I would like her, again, I'm going to put her on the spot because she had no warning, just to maybe tell you what she's gained by being a Key Club member as a person. Sorry about that.
So as a Key Clubber, well, I was a Builders Club member at first in middle school, and so I've been doing community service pretty much for all of my life thus far, and I've learned great amounts about humility and being grateful for what we've been given, working with the less fortunate throughout our community and on the state level as well. And learning that, I've also been able to network and expand my social circle and meet many new people, which has been a great experience. And working with the district board, I was able to meet people throughout all of Indiana and nationally at this point, which is pretty incredible to be doing at this age. And giving back to the community is an extremely rewarding feeling, and I'm so fortunate to be able to be in the position to be able to do that, and I hope to share that with others, and getting another Key Club going and sharing the love for service that we've been able to create and throughout Key Club has been truly amazing, and it would be a great thing to share that love for service with others.
I'm going to put you on the spot, David, if you don't mind.
Sure.
David has seen a lot of the Key Clubbers. They've been at his house. Do you want to come up and just briefly tell us your perspective as a parent, what Key Club has done for your daughter?
Sure.
And for you and your wife as well.
Yeah.
Again, no warning.
Thank you. And I want to thank you all for having Riley and hosting us here. I have 6 children, and unfortunately only 4 of them have been in Key Club, but it's been a great experience for all of them. And you know, any of us that have raised children, you know how those high school years can be difficult, and it has benefited all of them in so many ways. But you know, as Riley mentioned, the social circle and surrounding yourself with other like-minded people that can you know, guide each other and help each other through some difficult times in high school, and they have a really comfortable social network. And you know, to instill, and also secondly, to instill giving back to the community, and all of you folks here obviously have done that in being in your Kiwanis Club here, to start that at a young age and to have such good leaders as that they can look up to and mentors has been invaluable as well. And you know, as parents, we can do only so much, but it's those choices that they make when they leave the home and when they go to school, and to have that network of people, whether it's other students or very effective leaders in the high school, because they're so passionate about what they're doing. And I can't recommend it more highly. And it's been a great experience, not only for my daughters and Riley. It's just, you know, taking the opportunity that the Key Club has provided to her, and I just seen her blossom so much. And you know, for her to stand up here, I never could have done that. I never could have done that at that age. And I just admire what Key Club has really allowed her and given her an opportunity. And so, anything that you can do to support your local club or the development of a club or an encouragement, I would highly encourage you to do that. because I've seen firsthand the difference it's made in our family. And my wife and I, we just, I mean, it's just amazing what these kids do today. And you hear all the bad stuff, but we don't hear the good stuff enough. And I just see that the people that have the desire, they just keep on, raising that bar. That I just, it makes me embarrassed at what little I did when I was that age, quite frankly. So, thank you again. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Good job.
I know we're out of time, but if you have questions, we'll stay behind and answer any that you have, because I think we're about out of time, aren't we? So again, thank for the Greels for coming by. They had no warning. They were just on their way home, and I asked them to stop by so we could cover a few other things. By the way, his wife got drafted. She's going to help chaperone our kids to San Antonio, so she'll spend 5 days with a bunch of really incredible students.
Well,
Great.
thank you, Dave. Dave?
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate what this was going to turn out to be, but it's been excellent. It was wonderful to have all of you here. So Jim, you're back on.